Good morning, Crystal Rain Dance Ranch. I'm at a client's house. This is day 2. I need to finish up the planter, but this is how it looks now. And I really love how it looks over here in this section with the asparagus fern hanging over. And so let's start over here. Once I got these cleaned up, I just trimmed off the dead bits and thinned them out where they needed to be thinned. But the way I like to do things is I don't ever just chop things back to the nub and wait for them to grow back. Well, I shouldn't say I never do, but very rarely is that necessary. Certain plants you might do that with every year, but most plants I don't do that with them. I just trim them and thin them so that they always look good. So once I started putting the annuals in, I started over here, and so we had a bunch of annuals that are still alive that will probably start taking off in the spring, and this one looks like it needs a little water. And I basically jumped in the middle of this project, and they already had the trays of annuals, and probably a quarter of the annuals didn't make it. They were sitting out for like a week or something. I don't know how long. And so I just kind of put some of the ones that I'm hoping will survive back here. And one that should survive just fine, this geranium. And I also trimmed them up a little bit. Like this one actually had a flower on it, but I cut the flower off to encourage more flowering. But, so, now this is interesting. I don't remember that being all scrubby like that yesterday. But maybe that was one of the scrubby plants I did. So as you can see, this is what it's looking like now. So it will be really interesting to see how this looks in another month or two. So I just kind of smattered in the annuals I had available to me. That's a geranium right there. That one was one of the sadder looking ones, and I should cut this off, but I just wanted to leave something for some instant color. I should have cut off those blooms. So then we've got petunias going in here, and a lot of snapdragons are going to be scattered throughout. So mostly all the flowers are petunias, snapdragons, alyssum. And then there was just a couple of dianthus and a couple of begonias. Like literally like 2 or 3. So those will be nice little surprises if they come through. I think this is where I put the begonias. Yeah, that's the begonia section. I put in 3 begonias. Where are the other ones? Right here, there's one. What happened? That's weird. Maybe they got buried. I don't know. And then this is where I got to. And one of the problems with this planter bed is these beautiful asparagus ferns, because they create a mat of roots that are like rhizomal roots. I can't remember if they're like considered rhizomes or something else, but they really spread out. And I mean, these areas were just these open areas beyond the base of the plant are just matted with roots. So if you're gonna add perennial type plants to a annual flower bed, certainly these are nice additions, but you just want to use them sparingly, in my opinion. Or you would have them in one section with other perennials. So for example, having some down at the end of this bed, and then maybe clearing them all out here, or maybe have a section over there and then a long area with that's just free for annuals, and then having some asparagus fern here, and then having some here and here or something, and then maybe clearing out down to the end or something. Like, I'm probably not going to be able to make that decision to go that far with this. I'm just installing the annuals, and I'm working on a wing and a prayer, but I think it's going to look good. I think that these annuals will survive. Annuals love the Phoenix winter, and it's just going to get better from here till May. So I think most of these annuals will look really nice by March, mid-February, March 1st, and then the customer will be able to enjoy them until May. But like I said, like I just got hired to do the annuals, but if I got hired to do a full-on design, I would probably put perennials in this area, and then maybe put in a pot with annuals, and then I would open this up, this section here, about this 5-foot section. I would pull out all of these asparagus plants and just clean this up to make it easier to accept the annuals. And then I would I would add in some other perennials here, and then I would clean this area up from all of the asparagus. This tree is supposed to be coming out, by the way, just not going to happen anytime soon. And then so this area all along here would be free of the asparagus. Or maybe I would allow some asparagus in this area, and then another open spot. And so it would be perennials and asparagus, space, perennials and asparagus, space, perennials and asparagus, space, perennials and asparagus. And so that way, like during the summer, you could do pentas here in Phoenix, which would look really fabulous if the customer wanted to do that. And there are some other summer annuals that look really great. I'm really fond of the pentas. And you do some, I'm really fond of the potato vine, the lime-colored potato vine for Phoenix. We just don't have a lot of options in Phoenix for beautiful, lush-looking annuals, but pentas and potato vines are just fabulous. And I know it might seem boring to some of you who live like in Wisconsin or Michigan or wherever, but that's all we can do. Well, I mean, there are a few others, but I just think those are winners in our desert area for our summers. So yeah, but I mean, this just looks beautiful with I really, really love how these look, these asparagus. But you've got to be cognizant, for any of you do-it-yourselfers who are watching this video, about what perennials you mix in with your annual bed, in an annual bed. These, you just need to know that there's going to be root problems, and it's going to be very difficult to add annuals in amongst these. Like, there's too many of them in here. Too many of these asparagus plants. But like I said, I mean, if you're a person who really wants to have a lot of annuals, like right here, I would like to see like some kind of a container right here. Like you could do something like those raised metal, corrugated metal, maybe something rectangular, like sitting right back here would be nice. Something with that sort of, because this customer likes a lot of metal vintagey stuff. And the house is a beautiful, beautiful Tudor house. Here, let's get a little sneak peek. Beautiful house. And so, you know, rusticy stuff works for this particular landscape. And it looks like the customer likes that. So, but I'm just doing the annuals, so I'm not full on selling a full on landscape service. But that's what I would do here. And so now you know what it looks like. And I will do another video once this is done, and hopefully I will be able to get back in here and do an update by the 1st of March and see how all of these plants ended up doing. All right, this was a little longer than I had expected. Thanks so much for watching.